Map publisher folks, where are you? Excellent. 25%? Nice. Let me just get going here. So I'm here to talk to you today about the Avenza platform. So just a bit about me, as this is my first NACIS. So my name's Nick, that's me in the top right. I think I'm wearing the same jacket. So yeah, I was first a cartographer, so I graduated from Oxford Brookes in '93 in England. The reason I put decision time up there was when I was 11 years old, I either wanted to play soccer or become a cartographer. So I quickly realized that I wasn't going to cut it as a soccer player, so all that was left was cartography. So I actually planned my entire education to go off and make maps for a living. So yeah, so I came out of Oxford Brookes in '93, got a job at Lovell Johns in Oxford in '94, and then you can see the transition through various companies. Moved to Canada in 2000, got a job at Avenza Systems, and that's where I really branched into software and services. Had an opportunity to come back to the company in January this year, and I'm very glad to have made the transition back. So Avenza, yeah, we're a Canadian company based in Toronto. I'll be looking at the Blue Jay score throughout this afternoon. They need to win. But yes, we specialize in cartographic and mapping software. I'm sure most of you guys here know that. And we've been around about 20 years. The Truman Show. Who's seen this show? Who's seen the movie? Dating yourselves. So I worked as a cartographer in the 90s. And back then, when you made maps, they generally went off to printing houses, got distributed to end users, but you kind of just lost touch of where those maps were, how they were being used. And we went to see this movie in '98. A bunch of us from Lovell Johns went to see it. And we took great delight to see one of our maps on the wall in the Truman Show. And that was 2 years after we made it. And that's the first time that I've seen a map that I had a part in being out there being used. So this is the scene where he wants to go to Fiji, but he's locked in a Hollywood set. So you can see the plane on the left there. It could happen to you. Anyway, it's all about the maps. So I'm going to take you on a few journeys today. So really, it's talking about kind of where we've come from the 90s to where we are today. So we have a bunch of applications out there. A bunch of guys know Map Publisher. We have an application called Geographic Imager. And we've recently branched into the mobile space. So I'm going to show you how all three kind of hook together. So really our journey starts with geospatial data. So at the end of this, by the way, you're going to get a free gift. So hope you look forward to that. So as you all know, geospatial has explicit geographic positioning information included. It may include attribute data that describes the features found in the data sets. So you'll first see how we made a map, and we chose Colorado Springs using Map Publisher. We got the data from OpenStreetMap, we converted it to shapefiles, and we're going to combine that raster data with, the vector data from OpenStreetMap with some raster imagery that we got from the USGS. And then you'll see how ultimately it will end up on your phone. So yes, a Map Publisher is a suite of cartographic tools for Adobe Illustrator. You can import major GIS file and database formats with all data and geographic attributes intact. So we actually support the import of the majority of geospatial data formats, including those from Esri, MapInfo, FME Desktop, AutoCAD, Google, and the US government. It also supports connecting to WMS, WFS, Esri databases, and PostGIS as of this year. So now we're going to bring the data into Map Publisher. So this is the raw shapefile data that we brought in. You can see there's a bunch of roads in there, a bunch of areas. Doesn't really mean much at the moment, doesn't really look much like a map, but you can see in the top left corner with the map info panel, that all the georeferencing information is there for you in Illustrator. So you can see the layers on the right-hand side, they've all come in, names based on the name of the shapefile, and you can see all the attribute information is there in the bottom right too. So next we're going to reproject that data. It came in as WGS84. We're going to convert it into Colorado Central Zone, and we do that through the map view editor. So map views are really what contains all the georeferencing information for the data itself. So we've specified Colorado Central Zone, and we've changed the scale slightly, and then we click OK, and now you can see in the map info panel, the data's changed to Colorado Central Zone. So it has some pretty powerful tools, Illustrator, and that's the great combo between Illustrator and Map Publisher. You can use Illustrator's tools to style the data as you see fit, but we actually have now style sheet functions that can really take advantage of the attributes and the georeferencing information to connect the two. So here's a style sheet theme we use to style highways, which we set up by matching attributes to an Illustrator style through an expression. We set up styles ahead of time using Illustrator's Graphic Styles panel and selected the highway style here in the Visual Properties tab. Everybody keeping up? Jumping forward, here's the data all nicely styled, zoomed into the area where we are right now. Pretty cool stuff. Next, we decided to bulk label all the streets using Label Pro. The name column in the attribute data was used to generate labels. Text labels would be output to a label layer. The road label style was set up ahead of time to give the same font and size to all the labels. A rule for placement of the labels was selected. We chose them to be centered and center-aligned on each path. Label Pro allows you to label multiple layers simultaneously and also set up rules on what to do if text overlaps text. We could have labeled just selected paths, but we chose to label them all. So here the rows nicely labeled, quick as that, minimal editing required. Time to look for some places of interest to add to our map. To do this, we ran Find Places, which automatically zoomed into where the map is, specified search criteria, then imported the points. You can say we've got a decent search criteria there. Things would be of interest to us here today. After applying a style sheet theme we set up earlier, leveraging Illustrator Symbols panel, we now have some places of interest represented, and all have attributes that we can use for labeling. Now we're going to add some imagery. So GI is a geospatial processing tool for Adobe Photoshop. It adds the ability to open and recognize geotiffs and other reference raster formats. You can also tile, mosaic, crop, and reference imagery. GI saves and exports images with all spatial information intact. So the collection of geospatial imagery of Colorado Springs that we obtained earlier were opened in Photoshop. These are geotiffs, and GI loads all geospatial information embedded in the images and displays it in the panel on the right-hand side. So now we decided to create a single image, which is quick and easy as they're all georeferenced. For this, we use the Mosaic tool. You can see all the open documents listed in the left-hand pane. We chose to mosaic all the open georeferenced documents. And there you go, a single image, all nicely georeferenced. As this image was in NAD83 UTM when we started, we need to reproject it to the same coordinate system as the map publisher document so we can use them together. So for this, we use GI's transform tool. Here is the image reprojected to Colorado Central Zone. Note the panel has been updated accordingly. Finally, we wanted to crop the image slightly. So in order to retain the georeferencing, we have to use GI's GeoCrop tool. Otherwise, all that georeferencing will be lost. So now we're done with GI, at least for this demo. So back in Map Publisher, we import the georeferenced image. Because it was in the same coordinate system, it automatically got added to the same map view as the vector data. So it's starting to look more like a map. So we did some final cartographic work, a few more places of interest, a bit more coloring, placement of a legend. You can do all of this through Map Publisher. We put a scale bar in, again with the georeferencing, very quick and easy. So we now have our finished map. So where we're going to go next is to take this up to a store, which will allow it to be distributed to the mobile platform. Okay, so essentially we upload it to our own Avenza map store. We're not going to charge any cash for it, so it's going to be available to you guys at the end of this. So this is how we do it. We upload it to the Avenza map store within Map Publisher. You can do the same kinds of things in GI. We give the map some metadata, so we can search for it easily on the store later on. and then we just simply click upload. So just before we go to the store, here's a few things we've been working on this year. Some things we finished already, some things that are coming along soon. Very excited to be importing from ArcGIS Online later in the year, so that will be functionality added to our importers. We always strive to keep up with the new data formats as they come out and add them to our suite of importers. So PostGIS, GeoJSON, we can now import encoded data, so data in different languages, different character sets can be brought in with all of those attribute data intact. We can export to GeoPackage. We've added point symbol knockouts to our text knockout functionality. We're going to add trim and expand tools in the next release. And we always have to keep up with Adobe Illustrator and ensuring we're compatible with them. They change lots of things. They break us from time to time. A few things in GI 2016. Photoshop is even more challenging than Illustrator to remain compatible with. So that's always a big part of our year is making sure that we're compatible there. We improved our WMS functionality. GeoPackage was added as a save type in GI, and we've improved our geocrop. So if you saw that last dialogue in the past, it's changed significantly since. Okay. So now to the map store. So now we've gone online to a web browser. We've gone to the store on avenzamaps.com. We've done a search for Colorado Springs, and magically we found the Colorado Springs map that we uploaded earlier. So there you can see it's as quick and easy as that. So the store, yeah, so we've got over 500,000 maps on the store right now. They're all spatially referenced. They're created by professional mapping companies, cartographers, a bunch of you guys here today, private sector companies such as Nat Geo, public sector like US Forest Service, USGS Topos. So lots and lots of really cool maps up there. And my colleague Trent, over there in the corner, is working on getting us more. So now to the mobile app. So who's used PDF maps? So we're in the process of rebranding. Our Windows version has already gone to Avenza Maps. So Android and Apple will be rebranded to Avenza Maps by the end of the year. So now we've gone into the we've gone into the app itself. We've downloaded it. We've run a search in the store. We found our Colorado Springs map. You can see that the extent of the map, at least in the mobile app, you can see that it's magically placed in the window there, so you can see the extent of the map itself. So we've selected it. We can see the metadata that we entered earlier. So we're going to choose to download it. So that now it gets added to my layers list. And then I've opened it, and magically it's in my mobile. Okay, you can see the blue dot. I have to admit, I did a bit of Photoshop before I arrived here, but it does have built-in location services. So it tells you where you are on your map, which is super cool. So there's a lot of cool tools in the app. I'd heard that the Over Easy breakfast joint was a good place to eat. I don't know if you guys have been there. So I did a search for it within the app. It told me where it was. I added it as a place mark, so now I know how to get there from here. So lots of other cool tools. You can measure distances, record GPS tracks, find locations based on their coordinates, and plot photos you've taken on your trip. You can see using the Record GPS Tracks tool, I tracked a route from the hotel I'm staying at. Again, I apologize, it's all Photoshopped, but that's what it would look like. I got in late last night. So you can sign up as a vendor, which is a great addition as well. So you can actually publish your own maps, become a vendor, get some caches there downloaded, make them available for free. That's a great part of the store that you can do yourself. This is our portal. You can see the coverage that we have right now, so we're doing pretty well. Again, we're building out more as we go forward. So now you can really see who's using your maps and how many they've been downloaded. So as a vendor, you can go in. These are our most popular maps. You can see there's one there for the Niagara region, I believe. Yeah, just on the most popular maps, the Niagara region map, the cycling map, has been downloaded over 5,500 times. So that's the Avenza platform. I know I rattled through it quite quickly. Now you've seen how our cartographic and spatial imagery software works with major geospatial data formats. Our desktop software was used to make a decent-looking map quickly by leveraging Adobe's tools and the built-in referencing and attribute information of the data. That Geo Reference map was uploaded to the map store to enable it to be distributed to end users almost immediately. Our mobile app grabbed that map, and it can now be used for work and play. So I'm going to leave some printouts at the back. I figured there'd be a lot less people here today than there were. Quite astonishing. Again, this is my first NACIS, so anyway, I'm going to leave some printouts of these. You can get the app if you've got a QR code reader on your device, and then once you've got the app, then you can use the app itself to download the map of Colorado Springs and go and have fun tonight for the rest of the week. Okay. Just a quick shout out to Will. He's the guy with the circle around his head. He was the guy that made the map. And the rest of the team, without you guys, we wouldn't have such a phenomenal platform. That's it.
Questions?
Is there anything in this stack of tools to make the map scale dependent so that you can displace or only display at certain zoom levels? Or are you pretty much creating a PDF map that you can just zoom in and out of with a magnifying glass?
Yeah, so right now it's zooming in and out. That's how it works. Okay. Yeah, you can't save certain scales.
Other questions?
Are the maps you add from the app, are those all offline then, so they don't need a web connection?
Exactly, yeah. So you just get the map, then you can go off and you don't need data to actually use those maps. It just uses the built-in location device of the on the phone itself.
Anyone
Key
else?
point.
Great, thanks, Nick.
Okay, thank you.